Hello and welcome to this webinar on the FAQs of the Hector Fellow Academy PhD application process. We have collected all the questions we've received over the past 2 months, those most common, and I would like to welcome all the participants and just let you know in advance, if you have a question, please just put it into the chat. I will later answer them verbally. I will read them and then answer them, as it turned out during the last time that trying to chat and talk at the same time was not very successful or very efficient. I hope everybody can hear me. If not, please just tell us via the chat function. So, who am I that I'm doing this? My name is Stephanie Peer. I've been working in the Hector Fellow Academy office since the summer of 2016. My official title is I'm the PhD and postdoc program manager, which means I'm responsible for the admissions process, the selection process, the organization of the management courses, and the training and networking activities. I'm seeing somebody can't hear me. Hi, Gustavo, can you hear me now? My colleague is going to try to help you, Gustavo. So the last thing I'm doing is all the training and networking activities for the PhD students. So this is the structure of the Hector Fellow Academy. We like to think of ourselves as a naturally growing organism. So we have the fertile soil, which is the Hector Fellow Academy itself. It supports the so-called STEM subjects, meaning science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Plus, it also supports research in medicine and psychology. And we have two big areas in which we try to fulfill our mission. That is once the interdisciplinary research, and on the other hand, the promotion of young scientists. For you, probably the promotion of young scientists is a little more interesting. We have different ways of doing so. We have positions which are fully funded by us. That's you can apply with your own idea, or you can apply for an advertised position. And in order to improve your chances on the in the workforce and on the labor market, we also offer management training courses for you to network and to get to know each other. Our goal is to have future leaders, that would be you, foster the socio-political discourses within Germany and even worldwide, doing cutting-edge research projects. Those are both the interdisciplinary research projects as well as your own work, to promote Germany as an excellent science location and find solutions for the global challenges. So we have, as I already said, funding is limited to certain subjects, and you can apply either with a self-developed research idea. It needs to be in the field of a Hector Fellow, or for an advertised position, also advertised by a Hector Fellow. The benefits of doing a PhD funded and supported by the Hector Fellow Academy are manifold. You have the choice of 23 excellent professors. There's cutting-edge research being done. There's outstanding supervision. Each Hector Fellow was awarded the Hector Science Award, and one of the reasons for receiving is excellence in teaching and supervision of young scientists. There's a high level of interdisciplinarity within the Hector Fellow Foundation in the Hector Fellow Academy. You get to work on your own research idea if you choose to. Our positions are funded according to the regulations of one of the biggest science support organizations in Europe. You are not just a scholarship holder, you're employed at the university as a research assistant. You get research expenses from us, 9,500 euros per year, to use for your own research. You are a member of an excellent research network, which is something really, really important in order to further your career and your chances. And you receive additional management courses, you can take part in trainings, and we offer quite a few networking events during those 3 years you are a member. The Hector Science Award is awarded once a year, and it is given to German scientists, or not German scientists, but scientists teaching at a German university. It recognizes outstanding research and also commitment to teaching and promoting young scientists. On the right side, you can see some of the awardees. The last one was awarded just this January, Professor Röder from the University of Hamburg. Her field is psychology. The awardees automatically become Hector Fellows, and therefore they can apply, or they have a chance to receive funding from the Hector Fellow Academy and work and hire young scientists such as you. So now I would say it's not the boring part, because currently 3 people are answering questions, and we've selected those that seem to be most pertinent. And the first one would be, what topic should I choose for my PhD research proposal? So it should be probably a little expanded. So you should choose a topic you are qualified to actually do your research in. That is a basic qualification. And in order to get funding from the Hector Fellow Academy, your research interests need to match those of a Hector Fellow. So then we come to the second question that's always quite painful. The topics available do not match my research interest. Can I still apply? And there I have to be brutally honest. The funding from the Hector Fellow Academy is bound to the supervision by a Hector Fellow. So you need to have a Hector Fellow as your so-called Doktorvater, so supervisor for your PhD projects. And the research topic therefore needs to fit with the research interests. So what do we do? I'm interested in XY. Can you please tell me whom of the Hector Fellows can supervise me? And for us, part of the selection process is actually that you can find the right Hector Fellow for your research. We can't tell you, oh, he would be perfect for you, but we expect you to do this selection yourself. We have, as I think, quite a nice website where you can do your own research. You can look for research areas, and then you can look at the Hector Fellows doing research in that area to if they fit with your interest. So please use this opportunity to get to know what research is currently being done and how you and he or she could work together. Also, another question that I think we are asked quite a bit. Do I need to contact the supervisor to get his or her approval before I can apply? It is not necessary, but it is optional. The Hector Fellows are very, very busy people, and they might not answer your email, especially if this email does look either very long or not very well organized. And also, after you've decided on a Hector Fellow, you need to name the Hector Fellow in your application. It's always good if you've been in contact and can say, well, we already talked about it, but if I look at all the current fundees from our side, it is not a prerequisite. Can I apply for PhD scholarship if my supervisor is not a Hector Fellow? No. We are asked this quite often, so I've put it in a few times. And for you who are here, it's probably all very, very clear now, but I want to make it clear because sadly, this is just not possible. And without naming a supervisor in your application, it will be automatically rejected. So I already have a PhD. Can I still apply for a position? Yes. So some people have a PhD in medicine, and during the PhD, they will finish it, but they still learn that, yes, medicine is nice, but I learned that I'm a lot more interested in neurobiology. So you cannot do your second PhD in the same subject, but you can and are encouraged to do if you have a PhD, want to do a PhD in a second subject, to apply. Is there an age limit? The goal of the Hector Fellow Academy is to support young and excellent scientists at the beginning of their career. We do not have a fixed age limit, but the goal is to support young scientists. So your chances are not going to improve if you are older. So, is there a special format required in writing the PhD proposal? There's no template from our side, which is important, but we have some guidelines you should follow, and we want you to follow them. And we need a summary of your research proposal. That should be 2 to 4 pages. It should not be 40 pages, or it shouldn't be too short. So aim for 3,000 to 6,000 characters, including the spaces. And then you can follow the standard PhD proposal, which means the introduction to your scientific topic, state of the art in the field of research. It's always good if you've done some own preliminary work. Some people can look back on their master's thesis and are able to build on that. Then the goals and methods you will use, and a bibliography. It is important to us to see the innovativeness of your research idea and link to the research field of the chosen Hector Fellow. This is a lot, and we know that, but it's also probably the most important part of your application, so you should invest some time in it. I think that there's no template is not an issue. I think with the guidelines, it writes itself, or the format is quite easy to follow. So for those that have not yet finished their master degree, I'm in my last semester. I'm close to finishing it, and we know that sometimes it takes a little while. And can I apply with my transcript of records? Yes. The only thing is you need to finish your master and hand in the certificate before you start your PhD. That is the only thing that's really important. So if you finish your master's next year, then you should wait for the next year to apply then. Can I submit my application but upload some of my documents later after the application deadline? No. The evaluation is based on all documents provided until April 30th. What do we mean by a schedule for the PhD project? We mean a timetable. That means you need to design a plan for what you want to do when, a plan how to use the 3 years of the funding, because it is limited to 3 years. And based on this schedule, we will gauge if your PhD can be completed or if it's just too much, because it's only 3 years. 3 years sounds like a lot of time, but you need to be realistic about what you can achieve in those 3 years. So this is why we really want and need to see this schedule already this early in the application process. Do I have to upload the official translation of my documents? First, we need a translation if your documents are not in English or German. You can apply with a non-official translation, so you can do it yourself, but we will need an official translation later in the application process. And false and or misleading information is cause for immediate termination. So just because we are quite relaxed with that we do not need a notarized translation, false or misleading information will end your application and you will then not be able to apply. Can I submit the letters of recommendation myself? No, sadly not. We will directly request them from your references. So they will get an email from us with some guidelines, and they will then send them directly to us. Also a question that we ask quite often is it mandatory to have a IELTS or TOEFL certificate to apply, and what is the minimum grade required? They also need a GRE. We do not necessarily need you to have this certificate, but we require you to have excellent English skills, which can also be shown very easily by writing a grade proposal. The IELTS or TOEFL are optional. If you have it, send it to us. We're happy to see them. The GRE is also optional and must be sent to us directly by ETS. The GRE is helpful because we have applicants from many different education systems, and it is more standardized than the university system, the 200 university systems in the world. But once again, it's not a must-have. Are German language skills mandatory? Easy, no. Well, you will probably learn some German during the time you are in Germany. It's 3 years and you will live among Germans. It is not necessary to have them in advance. Do PhD students have to attend classes? That depends on the host university. We have 23 Hector Fellows, so we have not quite 23 universities, but 12 different German universities in different German states, and they all have very, very differing regulations. So this depends where you end up. On top of that, we offer additional courses. Those are the management training courses. For example, we offer a regular presentation training or other skills necessary to succeed in science. In the end, which institute will issue the PhD certificate? You will receive your PhD from the University of the Supervising Hector Fellow. You will get a second certificate about the courses you attended from the side of the Hector Fellow Academy. You will receive that from our side, but your PhD will be from the university. Can I keep my place of residence? Only in case you're already living where your Hector Fellow does his or her research. Remote working is not possible, and in case of admission, you must move to the location of your Hector Fellow. We expect that, and we want you to move there because in our experience, it's always good to do your research directly with a Hector Fellow. So also a question that's, I think, very, very important for all of you. PhD students are fully funded according to the TVL 13. How much net do I take home with that? Your net income depends on a lot of factors. So it depends on your subject. So if you're doing your PhD in biology, you will receive 67% of a full position. If you're an engineer, you will receive 100%. For a 100% position, it's approximately 2,200 to 2,500 euros net each month. This means that as you are an employee at the university, you will not have to pay extra money for insurance. You will not having to pay extra for social security. You will receive all the benefits that a German person employed in the public sector enjoys. You can use it, even though it's in German, it's quite self-explanatory. Just follow the link for the calculator. I know that's a very, very wishy-washy answer, but it also depends if you have kids, if you don't have kids, if you're married. It's a highly complicated system in Germany. So I'm not a citizen from the European Union. Can I still apply for a position? Yes. We accept excellent students from every country on the planet. There are no restrictions regarding the country of origin. So please don't be discouraged if you feel like, I'm not from Germany, so I don't have a chance. That's not true. We do not in any way look at where you are from when making our decisions regarding the excellence of your research. Yeah, especially for those from outside the European Union, always a very, very tricky question. Can I apply for a visa to Germany if I get accepted? Yes. You receive an admission letter with all the information about how you will be funded, how much, what your position at the university will be, and then you just need to check with your local German embassy about what additional documentation they will need. We haven't had any issues so far with people not getting a visa to come to Germany. So this is really, yes, it might be a lot of paperwork because Germans do love it, but please, that is really not something you should be in any way afraid of. Where can I check my application status? Currently, we do not have an automated system to check your application status, so it would mean that each time you check on it, one of either myself or my colleagues would need to stop working on your application. So the announcement for the second stage candidates will be sent out at the latest at the end of May. And until then, please don't ask for the status of your application. So next step before I start answering the questions, I can see being typed there. So go to our application portal and register if you have not done so already. Apply until April 13th. It's a Monday. And if you want to, and we really, really would like you for that, try to not wait until the last minute. If there are any questions, I'm seeing them and I'm going to answer them in a minute. Just type them in there and I will do so now. You can also write us an email to info@hector-fellow-academy.de. And also, if you like, check us out on Facebook or on our YouTube channel. No, I'm going to have to start with the first question. 1 second, please. One question. If there are 2 Hector Fellows that could potentially supervise... it's not working out very well, sorry. Potentially supervise my project, how should I choose? Can there be a joint project? That is possible. If there are 2 potential supervisors, it would make it a little more difficult in the planning because you'll only have 12 days left. You should have a look which supervisor is even more suited to you. So try to find, there must be some difference between the 2 of them that could make one a tiny bit more suitable than the other. You can also try for a joint project, but that would be with a time that remains quite a challenge just on the organizational side. If your TOEFL is expired, just send us a copy. We might not use it. We will just use it to get a general view of your English. If it is 4 years old, we are just as it is not an official requirement to have the TOEFL, we can use the expired one just to get a holistic view of your skills in that area. I'm writing my proposal following the citation style APA. That means I put directly the author and the year of the publication in brackets. Do I need to include a reference list at the end of my proposal anyway? Yes, I would recommend doing that. It's just making it a tiny bit easier on us. So we are not specialists necessarily in all areas the Hector Fellow Academy covers. I know that your potential supervisor will definitely know probably each of these persons, but for us it would be great if you could just add the reference list at the end. Thanks for the question. That shows you're quite far in the application process. The research project I want to work on is similar to the one another PhD student in the Hector Fellow Academy is carrying out. Is there a problem with that? It depends how similar it is. If it's the same, then there is a problem, but if it's not, then it's not actually a problem, because it also shows that your research does fit well with the supervising Hector Fellow. How is the mechanism of application organized? What should I start with? Is there a link to a list of all the requirements? One second. It's once again not doing what I want. Requirements and documents I need to submit? Yes. Just go to the Hector Fellow Academy.applicationportal.org, and there's a list what we want and a short explanation about what each document means in the context of an application to the Hector Fellow Academy. And the application is organized. You need to apply via our portal, and then your application is screened by the Hector Fellow Academy office before it's being the most promising candidates are forwarded to the Hector Fellow, and they will then organize interviews either in person or via Skype with the, in their opinion, best candidates. Okay, you wrote an email to info@Hector Fellow Academy and you haven't received an answer yet. Please, in that case, I'm really sorry, but just resend it and put in an urgent. Once I'm finished here, I'll just have a look at the at your inquiry. Sorry, we have not answered so fast. Is there a deadline for the referees to send the letters of recommendation? Yes, we send them with the email each reference receives. They receive a deadline when they have to send it to us. So yes, there is. So it's very important to tell your references that they will receive such a request and that they should not put it on the big, should just ignore it for too long. So it's, we will send one reminder, but after a while, if you do not receive the information within a certain amount of time, then your application is just not complete. Currently no questions, and I have to defend my office. But I see some of you are typing. Okay. Yes, the references get the email about the recommendation after the application is submitted. So for the further process, while there's still some typing going on, is once we have once you've been gone through the first round and have had your interview with the Hector Fellow, and he or she is really happy, wants to be your supervisor, you will then be invited to present yourself and your research idea officially during our symposium in Munich. You will receive an invitation and also the organizational information about everything related to your stay there and what we are expecting. There's another question. You mentioned that in the proposal we should mention important things such as our own preliminary work, state of the art, etc. But in the application portal, there are specific sections for some of those. For instance, why you chose the Hector Fellow you want to work with. Where should we include them? You should include why you want to work with that specific Hector Fellow in the application portal. In your research proposal, you do not need to answer the question why you choose this specific Hector Fellow. It should be self-explanatory from your research proposal and what you are going to work on, why you choose this Hector Fellow. And it's always good to show that you know the work the Hector Fellow has been doing and might even be able to cite some of their results. The question I want to ask about how to increase my opportunity is very, very wide. Generally speaking, be a good fit to the Hector Fellow and the research, have an innovative research idea, and you need to show in your application that you are an excellent student, that you did really good work in your master's, and that you in the end will be a great PhD student who will be able to finish his or her research within the time frame. I hope that was helpful because it's very general how to increase the opportunity. Once you have been successful during the interview/presentation in Munich, you will be informed about the results by August, and then can start pretty much from August, but shouldn't wait too long before you start your project. We are aware that applying for a visa might take a little more time for a person who is applying from, I don't know, India, or than a person who just has to move from Karlsruhe to Freiburg. So please keep that in mind. What about possibility of clinical research? Depends on your Hector Fellow and what research he or she is doing. So for example, if you're going into medical research, there are some Hector Fellows who work at universities and work in clinics, in university hospitals, and are doing clinical research. I will turn off the camera for a second. Should I contact them before applying? That is up to you. In some cases, it is good, but most of the Hector Fellows receive a lot of emails and therefore might need more time for applying than the 12 days until our application portal closes. It is not a prerequisite to have contacted them before applying. I turned off the camera because currently it's quite hard to when I'm just waiting for questions. And I see nobody is typing currently, so I assume every participant has asked his or her question. And in that case, you can send us emails. We will answer as fast as possible. You will also receive this information. And yeah, then I'm back again to say goodbye. And thank you very, very much for having been here, to have asked the question. I hope it was helpful for you, and I'm really looking forward to seeing all your applications and then maybe welcoming you in a few months as a member of the Hector Fellow Academy. Thank you very much, and goodbye.